From the alley-oops at Kezar to the glory days at the stick. From who's got it better than us to brick by brick. It's always the 49ers way, from off-season to game day. Yeah, we talk back. It's the 49ers Cutback.
It's 49ers Cutback Podcast time. And you know what? It's time for the lockdown guys. The guys that are in your face, making sure you don't catch the ball.
Terrell Owens?
No, it's time for the cornerbacks. Lockdown.
They are locked down. And they're important. They're important to this team. They're important for this organization, for this defense, right? Because right now we're built on the speed and the edge rush. Pass rush has got to get there, and we need the corners to play up to par. We can't have the Brian Allens of the world out there destroying the hard work of our pass rush.
Dumpster fire.
We don't want it. We don't need it. So if you're as excited about this discussion as we are, make sure you hit that like button right now. Hit that subscribe button as well. And Ant, give them a little taste of what we got coming today for these cornerbacks.
Yeah, we got a lot of great stuff because we have a lot of very, very talented players. Some of them are very young, but we also have Jason Verrett, and Jason Verrett is probably going to turn out to be one of the best corners in the league this year. He had a great bounce-back year last year, and then you have Emmanuel Moseley looking to ascend to that starting level and be able to take over kind of where he was in 2019, where I think we all had a lot of faith in him. Mm-hmm. But last year was a little shaky. We have the two rooks, and then we have Dante Johnson, who everyone is familiar with. But you can't forget the Shark that is playing the nickel corner spot, who should be getting a lot of Pro Bowl nods, but he never does. Shark is one of our favorite players, and he does a lot of things for this team. It's going to be fun to talk about all these guys.
Absolutely going to be, but we have to start with Jason Verrett, the man who just
100%.
Came onto the scene last year, blew up, and played absolutely phenomenal in the secondary. Really, this is what we hoped he would be. We kept talking about it. We kept bringing this up, whether it was training camp, whether it was preseason, right? Whether it was once they signed him and brought him in 2018, we kept saying, if this guy is healthy, this guy, him and Richard Sherman, the secondary could be set. A healthy Richard Sherman, a healthy Jason Verrett, this could be like a big thing. And no one really took it seriously. And then 2020 happened. And it happened in a big, huge, gigantic way. Not only did this man stay healthy, he was locking down some of the best receivers in the league. Hip, stride, breaking up passes, right? Destroying routes, interceptions, whatever we needed done from the secondary and from the cornerback spot, Jason Verrett got it done. There were games where it felt like they didn't even consider looking his direction.
I'm a little bit of a homer when it comes to Jason Verrett. I really do like his style. I like the way he plays. I've been a fan of him for a long time because I coached against this guy when he was very young, and he was really good then, and he's really good now. The only question was the injuries, and now that he's figured out how to stay healthy, it is so nice to see him bounce back. I want this guy to do well. Last year, he proved that he is a upper echelon corner in this league. I think he takes another step. He's another year away from injury, another year healthier, and everything's going to help get better for him. Now you add that elite pass rush to what's already a great coverage secondary last year. They did a pretty good job. There was a lot of times that the quarterbacks had plenty of time to throw. Verrett especially locked people down. He's going to need to do that again. He's going to get the best look. He's going to be on the best the best receivers all the time. He's got great ones in the division. He's going to be DK Metcalf. He's going to have these guys, DeAndre Hopkins. He's going to have to make sure they stop them. Cooper Kupp, Robert Woods. He's going to be on these guys all the time, and he has to make sure he does a good job of locking them down, but he can do so much. He's great in man. He's great in zone. He really is good using his eyes and also being able to figure out what plays are going to happen, decipher what the offense is doing. He can tell what plays are coming by where receivers are lined up, what formation they're in. All those things give away what you're going to do, and he does a great job. He's very cerebral. I think it did help him being with Richard Sherman, but this guy's a smart, great player that I think sometimes people forget was a first-round talent coming out of college and is still a first-round player, talent-wise, and he's going to be big for the 49ers this year.
My favorite clip of his right here. And this was, again, this just goes to the IQ that he has and the intelligence that he plays with, and I agree with you 100% on that point about Richard Sherman. Richard Sherman 100% helped this guy. Because if you remember, Richard Sherman was talking this guy up.
Yeah, he was.
A lot before he got healthy and got on the field. Richard Sherman had nothing but praise to throw at Verrett, which meant they were spending a lot of time together. Discussing, breaking things down, watching film, weight room training, whatever it was. Richard Sherman was working with Jason Verrett, and it showed last year because Jason Verrett played lights out all season long. I'm looking forward to him building, like you said, another year away from the injury, another year closer to being back to confidence and all-pro version of Jason Verrett. This guy could have a monstrous year, which means he's going to have to get paid. And you know what? $25 million extra in cap space. Jimmy may be gone in 2022. This guy may be a 49er for the foreseeable future and in the near future. So, folks, get excited because we may have our lockdown corner. We may have that. What do we do if once Richard Sherman is no longer Richard Sherman? You go to Jason Verrett.
Yeah, and you know what? He wants to be here. He wants to be in San Francisco. He's from the Bay Area. This is where he wants to be, and I want him here too. 100%, I'm behind this guy. He's great, and also he's one of the swaggiest players. I mean, nobody gears up like this guy. He just looks clean all the time. I love the way he plays, though. I do. I like the way that he flows. He's very clean. His bump and run is clean. His back pedal's clean. His recognition's clean.
He gets in and out of his breaks quick, too. It's nice.
And his eyes are good. They're always where they're supposed to be. And that's one thing that a lot of corners struggle with is what to have their eyes on, when they're in zone or in man, what is their read. And he does a great job of always making sure he's in the right spots and reading the right things. So, yeah, this guy is the lockdown guy we needed. It's here. He's going to shut down one side of the field.
Love to see it. You love to see it. And the next guy that we're going to talk about is going to have to hold up the other side of that field, Mr. Emmanuel Moseley. And look, we know. We've seen Emmanuel Moseley play really, really well for the San Francisco 49ers. So we know he can get it done, right? He's shown it. He can do it. The question is, at what clip, at what rate, and with what consistency can he get it done? The thing I like about the Emmanuel Moseley and the Jason Verrett pairing, though, is that you're not boxed in and you're not centered on this idea of only being able to play a certain type of coverage or a certain type of zone or on certain downs and situations and distances having to play to certain people's or certain abilities or strengths. These guys are both very physical corners, and they can be very physical. And that's one of the things I actually like about Emmanuel Moseley is the physicality that he plays with, especially at the line of scrimmage. He's very good at getting contact, not getting necessarily knocked off balance, and being able to stay with receivers and make catches difficult and tough. He makes receivers play their A game against him. And listen, that means that when you're playing against and he's going to be playing against the best. Let's not pretend like teams are just going to stick their best receiver on Jason Verrett all game long. They're not going to. They're going to take shots at Emmanuel Moseley. When you're getting the best in the league and the NFC West is filled with great wide receivers, you're going to get beat sometimes. But that's why this is a team sport. That's why you're relying on your safeties to maybe potentially help over the top. You can play a little bit more bump and run some cover 2-man, make them take those deep shots or shots over the middle of the field, right? That's why you have your pass rush. That's as deep as it is and why you bolstered and added to it to make it even more formidable than it already was. It's a team sport. You got to build off of each other and build off each other's weaknesses. Emmanuel Moseley doesn't have to get it done every play, but on big critical downs and distances, when we need stops, he's going to have to show up in a big way.
Yeah, and I think that part of what you were bringing up brings up the question is, how much is Jason Verrett going to travel with the best receiver?
Possibly.
If Jason Verrett is traveling, that's another reason why Emmanuel Moseley makes sense over Richard Sherman, because Moseley can go play the other side, where Sherman was really stuck on the left side most of the time. We've seen him move a little bit last year, but I don't think he was as comfortable with it as we all want him to be comfortable with it. So that would make sense. You're right. Emmanuel Moseley does a very good job of making sure he locks up receivers when his confidence is high. Mm-hmm. He's a very physical player. He likes to get up there and make tackles on the run game also. So that I'm not worried about. I'm not worried about him going against DK or worried about him going against DeAndre Hopkins. I think that he can play against those guys. I think what he really has to do, though, is he has to clean up his eyes. Sometimes his eyes aren't where they need to be. He's not reading what he's supposed to read. And if he did, he would be in the right spots. Sometimes in zone especially, this guy starts drifting. His eyes start drifting and he starts not looking, really caring where his reads are, looking at his reads. And that's when he kind of gets off base. And when that happens, then big plays can happen. You allow zones. The other thing that kind of gets me about Moseley, because I do like him, but the other thing that gets me is there are times on 3rd and 10, he will sag too far, allow them to catch the ball, and then they'll get a first down, where he could have played it a little bit tighter and prevented the first down from happening. Those are things he needs to clean up. And if he does, he'll ascend to the next level of his game And then we'll have a formidable duo with him and Jason Verrett.
And that right there plays into confidence. If you're a confident corner, you're not going to make those types of mistakes because you're not going to be worried about, could I potentially get beat over the top here, or could I get beat potentially on this route, because maybe they're in a formation that you've studied and you know they're going to do one of a few things. And so you're sagging off, trying to give yourself that room to anticipate a stop route or a corner or a post or some sort of, maybe a rail route. You're trying to give yourself time and room and space. If you're confident and comfortable, man, I've seen this look. I've seen this lineup 1,000 times. I've played you on this corner route today. I know what you like to do to get into it. I know how quick you get out of that break. I know how much space I actually need to give you. I can take a chance here and be a little bit closer because you know what? I'm going to make you go make a tough catch anyway, even if you do get a step on me. If he has that level of confidence, those types of mistakes don't happen because those are confidence mistakes. Those are you're second guessing or you're thinking too much into it, and that's maybe because you gotten beat a few times or it's just hasn't been a great day for you, right? Maybe you missed some tackles, things of that nature. If he can get out of his own head and just let himself go be great, go be physical, play to your strengths, right? Work on your weaknesses, know what your weaknesses are, and then give yourself the space or the timing or whatever it is that you need in order to make up for those mistakes and those little weaknesses in your game. He'll be just fine. The secondary will be fine. And the best part, if a quarterback is dropping back, 5-step, 7-step drop, going to his first read, which is Emmanuel Moseley, and he's all locked up, that means you giving Bosa, Ebukam, Kinlaw, Kerr, right, Armstead, all of these guys that much more time to get to the quarterback.
Yeah, this guy right here, he's got a lot of, motivation too, because he's got guys coming up behind him. They got the 2 young guys, and he's going to try to stave them off and keep this job. So he's going to be motivated to do so. And so he's going to get out there, and I think he's going to play more aggressive and a more physical style because he has to. Because if he doesn't perform, he knows his job is over. Plus, he signed a 2-year deal. He's definitely looking to get another contract. And what would be the best for him is to make a very, very nice year and very nice plays this year, so that way he can get that contract coming up in a couple years. If it's not in San Francisco, it's somewhere else. But this is his time, and he 100% is either going to rise to the occasion and get it done, or one of these rookies is going to jump up and catch him, and then this could be the end of Emmanuel Moseley's opportunities to start in the NFL. Not what he wants, not what we want, because we want Moseley to play really well, and that way we can get into the rookies eventually. But, really right now he's got to step up and he's got to play well. I think he will, because I think the aggressiveness is going to come out.
I agree with you there, and I think that's what he has an edge up over the Ambry Thomases and the Deommodore Lenoirs. Look, I know, folks, we saw the clip of Deommodore Lenoir. You're like, oh, man, what are you talking about? Physicality. He was physical. That was against an undrafted rookie wide receiver. Let's pump the brakes a little bit, folks. All right, let's pump the brakes. Let's let him get out there against veteran, seasoned wide receivers in the league and then see if that physicality and the technique that he's playing with is that good. Because there's a difference between an undrafted rookie wide receiver and an 8-year vet in the league who knows how to break off of press coverages.
Or even Brandon Ayuk. Yeah, you get him out there, and Brandon Ayuk is going to be able to do different things and play. His his release is going to be good. Yeah. He's going to be able to get by him. So yes, they played each other in college, but Brandon Ayuk just played in the NFL for 1 full season, so he's going to have a heads up and an advantage. But Deommodore Lenoir is a good player, and he could possibly play outside or inside. So that's going to be fun to watch the development. I don't know if these rookies are going to be ready yet.
I'm not sure either.
Yeah, I know there's a big push. I've seen people talking about Ambry Thomas taking over somewhere during the season. I think you're asking a lot of Ambry Thomas. People forget he didn't play last year. So he hasn't played football in a year, since 2019. So he's got some rust to knock off.
And here's the thing, right? The Niners, the Verrett 1-year deal, people may be thinking it's a 1-year rental. I don't think it was a 1-year rental. I think it was mutually beneficial to both teams, right? Verrett,
yeah.
You played extremely well this year, and you finally stayed healthy. Here's a 1-year deal with some nice incentive stuff and a good contract, a good solid contract. It doesn't maybe pay you as much as you played up to last year, but this is just an incentive deal. You do the same thing again, we're going to pay you a big fat ton of money. We just need to see it one more time. That's what I think the Verrett deal was. The Moseley 2-year deal tells me that he's just a bridge. Right? Even if he plays really, really well, most likely he's a bridge to whoever the next guy is. And think about it. The guy that we all think that they were targeting was Paulson Adebo in that draft. You give Paulson Adebo 1 year to get ready and then really compete with Emmanuel Moseley in that second year of Emmanuel Moseley's contract, By the end of that year, Emmanuel Mosley's expendable and Paulson Adebo is ready to go. Now you have Ambry Thomas, who's the guy you take early as the corner in this draft after you traded up and got Trey Sermon. It's very well as what's happening, right? Ambry Thomas has got a 2-year window to prep and get himself ready. Emmanuel Mosley's got 2 years to prove himself and show that he can be a legit corner in this league. And then Ambry Thomas can either show you something in 2 years and you roll with him, or you pay Mosley and there it is.
Yeah, I think Ambry Thomas is going to play well. I just don't know if you can put a rookie out there right now in the NFL the way it is now. This is not 1981, and we did not draft Ronnie Lott, Eric Wright. So this is not going to happen. The way we're hoping it was going to happen in 81. That would be wonderful, by the way, especially if we got those two great starters at corners.
And Talanoa Hufanga turned into Ronnie Lott?
Yeah.
It would be glorious.
I mean, one thing is we all knew Ronnie Lott was going to be a great when he got drafted. Well, I probably wasn't alive. I wasn't. But anyways, I think that we can't expect too much from these rookies. We need to let them develop and let them grow. And Emmanuel Mosley's proven that he can do this and he can play in the biggest games that there are. So there's not going to be a situation that's going to be too big for him to handle. So while we're sitting here, waiting for these rookies, let's just enjoy the fact that we got a corner that can prove he can do it. The concern is depth. We do have other guys back there, but are we really ready to turn it over to a rookie cornerback? I am more excited about a rookie cornerback over the dumpster fire that we had last year. So in that area, we're better.
Accurate.
But we do need to make an adjustment. We do. I think these guys will be good though. I think the rookies overall will be good, and I think they're going to develop, and I think next year is really the year that we'll start to see them make an impact on this team.
I think the only reason to have red flags about the rookies is if the 49ers go out and make a big move at corner before week 1 of the season. I think that would be a red flag that maybe something isn't clicking or developing with these young guys.
Yeah.
And they're trying to make sure that they have the depth that they need in case something happens to Mosley or something happens to Verrett.
You're right. If they make a big move, I don't think they're going to though.
I don't
think they're
feel
going to
they
sit
will
pat.
Yeah.
So I mean, these are the guys that we're talking about. These are the guys that are going to be on the roster, and these are the guys we need to get used to seeing out there.
Agreed.
The only good thing for all them is we have a front seven that is one of the best in the league, if not the best.
Yeah, I've heard some stuff about them. I heard they're pretty good. They're pretty solid.
Solid.
They have a nickname and everything. They're the Gold Rush. I guess if you have a nickname, you're usually pretty good. Yeah. But listen, next is Mr. K'Wan Williams himself.
The Shark.
The Shark is. I mean, he is literally a shark. You never see him coming. This is one of the best slot corners in all of football. One of the best nickel corners in all of football. This man here was the guy that we all hoped the Niners were going to bring back, but deep down inside, we didn't think there was any way they were going to be able to keep this guy because someone was going to pay the man good money because he has that position. He just does so many things, whether it's blitzing, whether it's coverages, whether it's against receivers, right? Running backs, tight ends. It doesn't matter who you put him up against. He is always making big, huge, gigantic plays. So the fact that the Niners were able to bring this guy back in, get him signed, even though it's only a 1-year deal, a 1-year rental, I'll take it. The Super Bowl window is open, and you've just solidified one of your positions on the field. Again, if the Niners are in fact going to a more nickel dime type package, where you're going to see a lot more nickel sets from this defense, that means you're going to have one of the best cover nickel guys on the field at all times. Good luck, NFC West receiving corps. Have fun.
Yeah, and there were a lot of suitors for him in the offseason. There were teams that were interested, just no one wanted to give him more than a 1-year deal. Jason Verrett got offered one multi-year deal, and this guy got a 1-year deal. Everyone was waiting, to see what the salary cap's going to be like in the future, so they're all being careful. But yeah, you're right. I thought this guy was gone. I didn't think there was any way someone wasn't going to throw some good money at him. He's one of the best, at his position. He does it the best. And all aspects of the game. He's good in coverage. He's good in recognition. He's good at blitzing. He causes turnovers. Those are all things that you're looking for out of that position. And he's going to fit in nice and solid. And I think the 49ers can feel comfortable with that starting unit with him at nickel and then having Mosley and Verrett out on the outsides. This guy knows how to make plays, and he's also a very good tackler. So he helps out in the run game. There's just so much to like about this guy. K'Wan Williams is a solid player in the NFL, and I think that he's going to be a big impact for the 49ers this year, and I look forward to hopefully retaining him in the future. But I do think they're going to slide in Deommodore Lenoir behind him, and that is going to be the guy that's going to be backing him up. But he's got big shoes to fill if he ever has to go in and play for K1 Williams. Hopefully K1 Williams can stay healthy this year because that has been a little bit of a struggle. He plays through injuries. He is a tough guy, but he misses games.
Yeah, and that's partially a little bit of the playing style. So, I mean, you hope he can clean it up a little bit and just be a little more, I guess, choosy in terms of when he's laying himself out there for certain things. But this guy is a utility knife, too, on defense because it's not just coverages with him. It's not just man. It's not just zone. You can blitz him, too, and you can send him from a variety of different places and a variety of different spots.
Yep.
Whether that's blitzes to rush the quarterback or whether that's run blitzes to plug up and shore up gaps and stuff runs in the backfield for loss. This guy really can do it all. And that Giants clip earlier of you have three guys basically releasing from the same side of the field. He has curls to flats coverage there, right? He lets every single guy run right by him. He's moving back in space, and as soon as the running back releases, he just puts his foot in the ground, steps up, and is like, no. See, you thought I was going to drop back and sit on these little curl and in routes going 10, 15 yards, middle of the field, maybe outside. No, I know what my responsibility is. I know exactly where you're going, and you're not going to dump that ball down here. Sorry, Daniel Jones, no checkdowns for you today.
Yeah, and that's what you notice a lot is the play recognition.
Mm-hmm.
And also on the blitz, he will time it almost right every time. He sits out there, times it, and then finds the right place to get in there and make a play. He's one of the best blitzers from the nickel position that I think I've seen in a little while. Right here, you're going to see him. He's out there, and he's going to end up coming. And look at the way he just came inside, absolutely ran right past the guard and made them look dumb. And that's what this guy does. He just makes plays. He's a playmaker. He's a shark out there. He gets it done. Just when you think he's not there, all of a sudden there's a dorsal fin, and he's got you.
It's too late. Yeah. It's too late by the time you recognize or realize what he's doing or what his commitment is. That other one there with Rudolph, right? Rudolph thought he was extending up and coming up to make a play, so Rudolph tries to put the ball in space to a guy, and no, I'm just going to sit here. Thank you. That's a free pick. That's nice. That goes good in the stat column, right? That'll help me get paid, so appreciate that. Mr. Rudolph, thank you so much, Mr. Reindeer. You're the best. Man, K1 Williams, the shark indeed. This guy's going to be really fun to watch in this defense with D'Amico Ryans. Yeah. With all the creativity and the aggressiveness that is coming and that Kyle Shanahan keeps talking about, this is a piece that is going to be one of the more unique, aggressive pieces that he can move and play around with and do some different things with. It's going to be really fun to see. And the last guy we got to talk about is Mr. Dante Johnson, who has had his ups and downs, but this guy could be a piece for this defense.
Well, he is a solid piece in the position that they have him in. Right now, he's the veteran backup cornerback. And he can also play in the nickel. So what they've got is a versatile piece that can do both. He's very, experienced. He has a lot of good technique. He's not going to go out there and wow you. He's not going to go out there and, be a lockdown corner like Jason Verrett. That's not what he does. But what he's going to do is he's going to get out there, he's going to contest catches, and if you catch the ball underneath, he's going to tackle you. And, that's really what it is. He doesn't make a lot of big-time plays, and yes, he does give up catches. He's a very serviceable backup. Somebody that you're okay with having him on the field. A lot more okay with it than some of the guys that we put out there last year. So Dante's always been someone I actually liked a little bit. I thought his skill set was good. I don't think he ever lived up to the potential that I think everyone was hoping for, that kind of elite level corner. But I do think he's a good player that fits in nice, and the role that he's going to be playing in San Francisco is very nice for him.
Absolutely. It 100% is. He's not as clean and crisp getting in and out of breaks or changing directions, and that can leave him prone to getting beat.
Yeah.
But you're hoping that he's not going to be guarding a team's best receiver. And even if he is guarding a team's best receiver, this is why what you brought up is true and accurate. He's going to give up some catches underneath because he's going to be less confident. He's going to get back a little bit, be a little more preemptive with guessing or assuming that maybe the route's going to be going deep and letting himself get a little deeper in space than he should, because at the end of the day for him, he knows I get to keep playing football and I get to stay in San Francisco and be on the field if I'm not giving up big plays. If I'm not giving up big plays, I'm just giving up the little stuff. All right, it is what it is. And then it's going to be on the defense to get the right calls and the right blitz packages in and the right schemes in, so that way you're not putting Dante Johnson out there in a position where he has to guard for 4 or 5 seconds. He's only got to guard for 2 or 3.
And it's nice having experience on the field.
That's also true.
It's very nice, to have a guy out there that knows what he's looking at, knows what he sees, knows the techniques of what he's supposed to do. I drop this far on this play. I read this with my eyes. All the things that he needs to do, he's very clean on. He's just not an elite level player as far as talent-wise, but you don't need elite level when you have a great defensive line like this. So he can for sure get it done, and I'm happy with him being the 5th corner. I think he might get pushed a little bit by like a Tim Harris Jr. We'll see if Tim Harris can actually be healthy this year.
It's true.
And I think that it'll be curious if Ambry Thomas is ahead of him on the depth chart. He could be. Deommodore Lenoir could also be ahead of him. We'll see how that all ends up panning out and shaping up. But I think overall it's a good room. I don't know if I'm as excited about this room as I was, like, say, last year, because I thought there was a lot of options there. And I think a lot of it has to do with we're going with that move now from Richard Sherman to Emmanuel Moseley, and Ahkello Witherspoon is gone, and I thought Spoon had a lot of talent.
Yeah.
So we are having a little bit of influx of change and a little influx of talent because these young guys have a lot of talent. So it'll be curious to see where it goes, but I think we have enough there, especially with the pass rush going to be at another level, and I think Jason Verrett is a better corner than the 2019 version of Richard Sherman.
You know what? I agree with you there. That might be a hot take for some. Right here, it's a nice lukewarm take.
Yeah.
Nice lukewarm take here on the cutback, because I think pretty much all of us would agree with that right there, that the version of Jason Verrett that we saw last season was better than the 2019 version of Richard Sherman that we saw. So, listen, I'm comfortable with this cornerback room to start the year off. It's really going to come down to health, right, and play. Health and play are going to determine for me how long that confidence stays, but my faith is in this cornerback room. My faith is in Verrett. I believe in Emmanuel Moseley. Is E-Man the right man for the job? You should watch that video if you haven't already as well, because we go really, really in-depth on Emmanuel Moseley. But let us know what you think down below of this entire cornerback room, not just those two, but everybody. Is there someone that we're not talking about that we should be? Should we be showing a little more love to Tim Harris? Should we be really going into Ambry Thomas and Deommodore Lenoir? Are they really the guys in San Francisco and we're just sleeping on it? Let us know down below. And while you're down there, don't forget to like. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. Hit that notification bell and share the video with the rest of the faithful. Let's grow this conversation. Let's get it even bigger.
Yeah, Ambry Thomas and Deommodore Lenoir are solid players. The development is going to be the key to watching preseason. That's going to be exciting to watch. We know what we're getting from everyone else, except for Tim Harris Jr.
Accurate.
And that is somebody that I actually really liked, but he fit more in the traditional cover 3 scheme that we were running 2019. Now, last year was more of a hybrid scheme. They were changing up, running a lot of quarters, running a lot of cover 6, really switching up what they do. So I wonder if he still fits. Be big and physical guy, somebody to keep an eye on, somebody that could push Dante Johnson for that last spot. Let's see what happens. Let's see what happens in preseason. Camp battles are going to be fun to watch. I can't wait for it.
Cannot wait one more second. Just be here already. And until next time, 49ers fans and the Cutback crew, you stay safe.
Remember, the right way
is always the 49ers way.